you, it's so wicked. What are you referring to? Where do you get off?
From Hot Rod.
Yeah.
I know Hot Rod better than you.
No, I don't think you do. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
Board games.
And
board gamey things.
And super classic board games that Jeff grew up playing as a little lad with his papa, and they would play all the time.
Let me paint you a portrait.
Let Jeff paint you a portrait.
It's a snowy winter evening.
It's Canada. It snows a lot.
Canada. Animals are in the barn.
Cows
Fire's
moving.
on. Dinner's been served and eaten. Bellies are full.
Yeah, flavorless gravy.
My mom's flavorless gravy. We're all sitting there and my dad's like, "Hey boy, want to play crib?" And I'm like, yes I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do.
And Jeff's dad would mercilessly beat Jeff over and over and over again.
My dad's opinion was, you will beat me someday. Until then, you will just take all the losses. And that's what I did for many, many years.
Until
I became a big boy and I started beating him.
Because Jeff started playing online and he was ranked.
And I was called Crib Jeff.
Call me
my
Crib
friends
Jeff.
called me Crib Jeff.
What
I
a
used
tale.
to play on Yahoo Games.
That's amazing. Today's video is all about Wicked Cribbage from Only Then Studios, who has very kindly sponsored this video. We know what you're thinking. What?
It's
cribbage?
listen,
Different?
it's a bold
move.
Only Then Studios.
So today we are going to be giving you a little preview of Wicked Cribbage, but before we do that, as per usual with our previews, we're going to do a little overview. We're going to jump into a discussion. So with that being said, we'll BRB.
Just quickly.
Yeah.
In case you haven't played Cribbage.
Yes.
I'll go over quickly what Cribbage is. Cribbage is a card game where basically you are trying to win tricks, essentially, and score points mainly based off of multiples of 15. You can score points for runs like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3. Well, I guess not 1, but ace, 2, 3, because aces in this game are 1 or 11.
High or low.
It's a very mathy trick-taking game, and you have this board that you are pegging along, trying to get to 151 points first. You are doing that through card play, so each hand you're going to have 4 cards in your hand, and then you're going to have 2 either in your crib or in your opponent's crib, and that's going to basically change turn by turn.
Jeff's dad calls it a kitty.
My dad does call it the kitty. Whatever. Crib, kitty, same thing. You're going to be playing cards back and forth up to numbers of 31. So, for example, I might start the turn and play out a 6. Jamie then plays maybe a 9, which is 15. Well, 15s in this game always count as 2 points. So Jamie would score 2 points on the board to fit 151.
Yeah.
Then it continues, because we're not yet at the 31 threshold, so maybe I would play a 10, and we're at 25.
Well,
I would pass to Jamie. Jamie might play a 6, to get to 31 exactly, and if you get to 31 exactly, you score 2 points.
Yeah.
However, it could also end at 30 because you can't go above 31. So let's just say, for example, in our example, I had played to 25, and then Jamie played a 5 for 30. If I didn't have an ace, which, if you remember, is a 1 or 11, then that would be the end of that hand. Jamie would score 1 point because it's not 31, but she played the last card for 1 point. Then we're going to keep doing that until all the 4 cards in her hand are gone. Okay? And then we're going to score the cards in her hand. And similarly, as they're played out, you're scoring multiples of 15, you're scoring runs, you're scoring pairs, you're scoring triplets. Flushes, all of these things have point values associated with them, which I won't go into detail here. But that's basically it, and it's a race to 151 points.
Yes, and
got it?
It's a lot of math.
Yeah,
so
but
Jeff has to do a lot of math for me.
It's simple math. Jamie has not played a lot of crib, so that's why she's saying this.
We played it a lot when we lived at Jeff's parents in between our homes. And and Jeff's mom beat Jeff and his dad.
That is true. It is a very simple game once you've played a couple hands of it, and you can kind of see how things work. It's very simplistic. It's very cozy.
It's a classic.
It's very classic.
Beloved by many.
That is cribbage. What
This is Wicked
Cribbage then? This is pretty simple. Okay, this is going to add cards into your cribbage game to make it a little bit more crazy. A little bit more wicked. In Wicked Cribbage, you are going to be getting essentially 2 decks of cards that are going to be outside of your crib game. So just keep in mind you are playing a normal game of cribbage. It doesn't change any of those rules.
No.
It is basically going to allow you to draw cards depending on certain things that are going to happen in your game of crib. These cards are designated by twinklers and luggers. And depending on what happens in those games, in the game, you're going to draw from either one of those decks. The twinklers are going to be played. They are drawn from the deck and played immediately. If during play, so as I mentioned when you're playing cards back and forth, if anyone scores exactly 15, or they get to 31. So as soon as that happens, you're going to draw a twinkler card and you're going to play it. The luggers are also going to be played, but they're only going to be drawn during the show phase, which is when you play out your hand and score your hand. Luggers are going to be played when you land on a multiple of 5, but they stay in your hand. All of the lugger cards are going to have an indicator on it of when it gets played. So during the deal, or during the play, or during the show, and it's just changing the rules with the cards. So for example, one of the cards, great. This is an immediate card. This is a twinkler. So if I was able to score 15 or 31 during the play, I would draw this and play it, and it lets me peg forward 5 spaces.
Bada bing.
Some are, memory where I might have 3 cards in front of me face down that I've already played, and then the card might say if your opponent can guess the 3 cards that are, whatever cards are in front of you that you've played, they will gain 6 points. Otherwise, they will lose 6 points. It's just adding some chaos into your game of cribbage if you're looking for something a little bit more silly and fun, maybe a little bit more kid-friendly because it gets a little bit more chaotic. It does come with 3 different variants. There is a core version of the game. Let me just see what the names are.
The core version has a little bird on it.
There is 3 variants of this that come in the game, and so you can add the core game, the Luck Lovers variant, or the Strategy Lovers variant. You could add all 3 of them. You could add 1 or 2 of them. You could add 1 of them, whatever you want to do. And each one is kind of representative of how much chaos you really want to invoke in your games. If you add all 3, it's going to be nonsense. If you add the core game, it's just going to twist it up a little bit. Luck Lovers is, as you can guess, adds a little bit of luck element to your game of crib. And then Strategy Lovers gives you a little bit more things to think about on your turn, basically.
Exactly.
That is Wicked Cribbage. It's just adding a little bit extra to your game of crib. And one thing I will mention is this is one of the most interesting rule books I've ever seen. I'll tell you why. They did the whole thing is funny. the entire tone of this book is kind of poking
Comical.
fun at cribbage and like
Yeah.
because there's specific terminology that exists in
Yes.
cribbage, and it's kind of poking fun about all of that. There's a totally true history of cribbage section, which is really funny. Like, here's an example. What was it his half-wit sister had said about his nips he set off? That's a sentence in here. Just want to say, very, very fun little read here.
Yes. So just so you could kind of get a little visual for it, like, it just has 2 spots for the 2 different decks, and it literally says right on the board when you pull one, so you have a visual cue. And I just wanted to give you like examples of the 3 different variants. So peg forward 5 spaces is a twinkler for the ordinary variant. So there's a little bug to show you luck lovers. Flip a coin. If your opponent calls it correctly, they draw an extra card and complete the rest of this turn with 5 cards. Otherwise, you do. Then a strategy one, which is a little snake. Both players complete the remainder of play with cards face up. So that's just an example. And then the luggers, it'll, like Jeff said, it's just going to tell you, you play this during the play, you play this during the show, during the deal. It's just giving you some silly variety, a little spice in your life.
Yeah, and I will just mention, like, there is a fair amount of these cards for you to explore and uncover during play.
Yes. So, who is this game for? Now, obviously, this game is most likely for somebody who has a love of cribbage, okay? If you are not a purist and you are open-minded to changing things up a little, I do think that this is kind of definitely for somebody who knows crib, who already loves to play it, maybe plays it with their family, maybe has a story like Jeff where their dad beats them all the time, and you're like, hey, let's spice things up a little, and let's add these fun cards in, and to play it with your family and just get a little bit silly.
I think this is a perfect addition to anyone that has younger kids that they want to play crib with, and just have a little silly fun with it. Like, I think crib is really good at teaching math skills and that sort of thing. Yeah. And I think this just gets maybe kids a little bit more excited to try it out, perhaps. Yeah. You know, like, here's these, cards that are nonsense, and you don't have to be like a purist to enjoy it, and you don't have to be super strategic in order to, win the game. It's adds some frustration, it adds some turmoil, and all of these things.
It almost makes it a little bit more of a modern day board game.
Just a little bit more gamery, yeah.
A little more gamery.
Not that crib isn't gamery, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And who is it not for? If you're a crib purist.
Yeah.
And you don't like silly.
You don't like people messing with your crib. I get it.
Listen, crib is a lifestyle game. This is like, there are a few games out there specifically for like our parents' generation in particular, like crib, gym, rummy, like those types of games, even crokinole for that matter. And it's just like, those people might be like, don't mess with what I got.
I think it'd be really interesting to try this with my dad.
I really want you to,
I think he would love it or hate it.
Yeah. I kind of think he might like it,
I think he would have fun with it. I think he might be a little bit frustrated at first, but I think once he got into the craziness of it, he would have a great time with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
because normal crib's always going to be there. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
Spice it up a little bit.
Spice it up a little.
Get a little spicy in your world,
Spice life. All of the information for Wicked Cribbage is going to be in the description below. So if it is something that you are interested in, please make sure and check it out. Click the links, do your research, do all of the things. I mean, there's only so much research. I mean, there's a lot of research you could do on crib.
Yes.
Hey, maybe this is for somebody who's never played crib before.
Some of it's in here.
Yeah.
Oh, they teach you how to play crib in here.
They do teach you how to play
They teach you how to play the normal crib.
Exactly. So if that sounds like it might be something for you, feel free to definitely check that out. But that is everything that we have for you today. Now, if you're interested in buying board games like the OG Crib, not this one, this one's going to Kickstarter, but OG Crib, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is
the Boardroom Game Cafe.
Exactly. And if you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later days. You want to say anything else?
I was going to say something else, and then I totally lost my train of thought.
Okay.
Let's give them one example of what a twinkler
Okay,
might
but just
be.
let me get to the luggers first.
Will do. I wish Juno hadn't eaten my super big SD card. Spice up your life. Spice
Yeah.
Girls. Now,